Hey guys, it's Jess from Life on Our Terms, and it's been about a month since the last time we did a garden walkthrough. So I think it's just time for us to go ahead and go in and take a look and see what's happening in the garden space today. So let's just go in. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the left here. So I have my tomatoes growing, and as you can see, we have significant growth in almost all of our tomato plants. So these are some of the sugar or super sweet 100s. These little babies will give off lots and lots of little cherry tomatoes, and according to my family, they're pretty tasty. I'm not a tomato fan as far as just eating them raw, so I will leave that to my family to determine whether or not they're good. I'm not gonna eat those raw, but my family will enjoy them. These are a couple of my yellow tomato varieties, and just looking at them, this one is doing really well. This little guy, I have no idea what's going on here, so I will just keep an eye on it. It might come out, and I might have to replant that with something else. As you can see, like I said, it's just not thriving very well. Everything does need to be watered, but it does look like it's going to rain, so I'm going to kind of hold tight on that. This one is actually another either cherry or grape tomato variety. It's called Rapunzel, and so this is my first time growing this, but I'm really hoping that I can get some really pretty tomatoes out of that. My plan is to not only let my family obviously enjoy them, but to share them with some of the people in my community that I love. So I'm hoping to have plenty of cherry tomatoes to be able to share with friends and family. This guy, I don't know. I don't remember what this one. Oh, it's a yellow. It's another yellow tomato. It's a yellow pear tomato. And so as you can see, it's thriving and doing really well. Got lots of flowers or lots of buds coming out on that, and some little green tomatoes here that are already starting to have their pear shape. So they are doing very well. This is a slicer tomato 4th of July blend. I was hoping that it would be a little bit bigger, but some of my tomatoes did really well this year, and some not so much. Just kind of keeping an eye on everything, and trying to do my best in the garden here. Maybe I need to add some Epsom salt to these guys that are not thriving. Same thing here. This one it's called Home Slice, and again, it's just not thriving. So hopefully I can make some adjustments and maybe get some stuff off of it a little bit later. This Leaning Tower of Pisa, I've been struggling with some of these supports, and I think I'll do some more tying up here shortly. But that one over there is called Jetstar, and it's nice and healthy even though it keeps falling over with its support. This one is Cherokee Purple, so this is an heirloom variety. It's also doing very, very well. All of these tomatoes that are not only supported by cages, but also by bamboo support, are my sauce tomatoes, and so they are growing so that I can actually can them and make tomato sauce out of those, and do canned tomatoes and all of that stuff. But as you can see, they are doing well. I'm getting lots and lots of flower buds on these. I am pruning them very heavily so that they can grow up the stalk. They are an indeterminate variety of tomato, so they will just keep growing and growing and producing until the season runs out. So I will continue to support them Like I said, I was having some difficulties with the regular supports, or regular just stalks, partially because I have very fine compost down, and so it just doesn't hold those poles in as well as I would have liked. So I went and added some of these little cages that offer additional support. The stalks are then attached to the cages, and now I can continue growing up my tomato plants. Over here in the corner, I have my big boy or beefy boy or something like that. These are going to be larger tomatoes, and I don't think I thought this way all the way through, because I don't even know how I'm going to get back there to get that far one, except for that I can go over by the compost and maybe squeeze in and harvest that way. So that's the only thing that I can think of that's going to help me with that. Over here in this bed are my squash and corn. I will be adding some pea or some pole beans to this now that the corn is starting to get heavy. So I will start to add some pole beans to this. But here are two of my zucchini plants. I did do some pruning today to take out some of the leaves, just to give the corn access to some actual sunshine, because these leaves were huge, as you can see. I mean, there's my hand, there's the leaf, and they were completely blocking out the sun for the corn. So I wanted the corn to be able to get some sunshine and be able to grow nice and big and strong. So in order for me to do that, I did need to prune some of the leaves back, but that will just take a lot more of the energy and focus it into developing more fruit. So as you can see, I do have some zucchini in here already growing. Hold on, let me see if I can maneuver this camera. Okay, there we go. There's a little guy right there, and there was another one in here, I thought, but maybe I lost him. Oh, there he is down. Me and my camera work. Little guy right down there. I might be losing that one to blossom end rot, but I'm not sure. But I'll keep an eye on it. Over here, this next one are my yellow squash, and as you can see, I have a few yellow squash coming on. Again, more corn planted in between those. And more of the yellow squash plants. There's one over there. This one is my my patty pan squash, and I have one growing right there. I had one that was down here, but again, blossom end rot, so every now and then you do lose a few to blossom end rot. But the leaves on this one, if you can see, just for perspective, are huge. So I definitely needed to prune that. More corn plants here. And then this is my acorn squash, and I've got quite a few of those growing. You see those little guys down there? Isn't that cute? Little acorn squash. Those are coming along. There's another one in there. And then lots more, quite a few more corn in there. Over here, my palette. So I planted some greens in there, but they're not really coming up. So I'm going to put something else in here, probably more beets and radishes, just because, I can plant those very easily in rows and call that a day. In the blue buckets, I have potatoes, and so all of my potato plants are flowering right now, and they're pretty full, so I should get a nice harvest of potatoes out of that. This bed is completely dedicated to cucumbers. I have both slicing and pickling varieties, and I'm I'm trying to direct them all to grow towards the trellis, but you know, cucumbers are going to do what cucumbers are going to do. I have lots of baby cucumbers down in here. Let's see here. I had a good size one. Oh, there. Huh. Yep, lots of cucumbers coming on. So I need to get all of my canning stuff ready to make some pickles. So I will be using some of these to make different pickles and then salads, and then obviously sharing. And then this bed used to be my tomato bed, so I have some random tomato plants growing in here as well. This is sweet potatoes. So I've got some sweet potatoes growing in here. So new leaves coming on, some more over here. Let's see here. So my trellis is actually very new, and I was concerned about being able to get everything to grow up the trellis. But as you can see, the cucumbers are really enjoying latching onto the trellis. I also have some green beans here that will actually use the trellis space. So as they get longer, get a little bit taller, I will definitely be pushing those towards the trellis and having them use that. So there's some stuff in there. Just moving right along. Over here, I have my watermelon plants, and these are the Sugar Baby watermelon plants. So going to be relatively small melons, but it's my understanding that the plant itself gets quite large. So I will try to train some of them to go up this trellis here, and then I will allow some of them just to go along this back half of the garden. Since there's not much back here, they can utilize that space. Onions. As you can see, my bed of onions that I planted, I think in March, maybe March or April sometime. It's all getting away from me. But my onions are growing like crazy. They are bulbing, and so it won't be much longer before some of these will be ready to come out. Those are my white onions. I've got some red ones in here that are still quite a bit smaller, but still growing. And then I have some yellow onions in here as well. So I'll just be taking my cue from them. When they fall over, it'll be time to pull them up and get them started on the drying process. Beets. So first of all, these beet greens look delicious. And guys, if you have never had beet greens, you should definitely try them. The whole part of the beet is edible, as far as the greens as well as the bulb. I have a nice little beet growing down here. I have some more that are growing. They're not quite as big. And then this is the yellow beet. So I've tried these for the very first time. Again, you know, my beets come along very, very slow here. I'm not sure if I need to just add some more nutrients to the soil and see what happens. But I will be planting some more of those over in my pallet bed. This is carrots, but as you can see, I found a couple of, oh, there it is, monarch caterpillars. So those are going to be your monarch butterflies. And I don't want them to eat up all my stuff, but I don't want to discourage them either. And then obviously right here are some radishes. We have more sweet potatoes here. This bed is in the process of being replanted. So yesterday I put down some kale, and then I'll be adding some collards and some mustard greens to this one to to kind of help out with some of my greens for a late harvest. So these will be the greens that I'll use probably in my holiday cooking. Hoping that I actually get some greens out of this and can utilize them as mixed greens for the holidays. I have some yarrow here that's growing. Here is my lavender plant. I just harvested from it today. But obviously, as you can see, there are lots more buds on here. And so probably within the next week, I will be able to come out and harvest more. I don't want to take too much from my plant at any given time. I want to make sure that I leave some flowers out here for the pollinators. As you can see, there's a little bee that just jumped on. And so it's important for me to leave some of the flowers out here for the bees to utilize. And it helps to attract them to my garden so that they can, pollinate my other fruits and vegetables that are out here. Obviously, there are some more herbs in there. I do need to clean out that bed and get rid of some of the weeds that are in there. But most of the herbs that are in there are doing pretty well. Here's my comfrey. I did trim it back and harvest quite a bit of that. And it's all in the process of drying so that I can actually use that in some of my herbal solutions, some of my salves and things. Let's see, this is valerian. Same thing, I will wait and harvest the roots, some of the roots for that. I don't like to harvest the whole thing, but I do harvest some of the roots to be able to utilize for my herbs and my herbal oils and solutions and things. Let's see, my echinacea is definitely growing big and tall. This got really, really tall as a result of having to fight for space with the comfrey. Starting to see some chamomile flowers, which are smelling outstanding. I have my bok choy, which I will start to harvest that because it looks like some of the bugs are starting to notice that it's out here. So I will start harvesting some of that and utilizing that in the kitchen. Regular cabbage here. It's slowed down in growth just because it's warm. I do have some things that I can put over it to kind of help protect it and keep it safe from bugs. So I might have to go ahead and put that out there to protect all of my cabbage, all of my brassica. Same thing. This is Brussels sprouts. And again, everything's doing well, but it is hot for these cold weather, cold crops. So I will just kind of let them do their thing, and no rush there. Same thing with all of my plants. I don't believe in rushing them. So they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to do it when they want to. So that's just kind of how it is. These are bush beans. So I'm starting to see some green beans here. And I will be planting a second crop of bush beans here soon. So I'm just going to put some more seeds in the ground and let them come up. And that way I have more beans and I can be able to harvest a lot more of those. And then over here is my pepper patch. And with peppers, they just kind of, again, do what they want to do. Everything has been provided with extra nutrients, but it just does what it wants to do when it wants to do it. So I just let it do it. Check out that banana pepper. Isn't that cute? And then I also have a jalapeno. And what is this? Oh, a lunchbox orange pepper. So a little pepper growing right there. And then these are some of the chili peppers that are growing. So yeah, everything is coming along. I'm very happy with my progress. Oh, forgot to show you. I do have some Swiss chard here that's coming up. And I also have some sugar pod peas. So I'll be able to just take those and eat those and put those in salad. And, you know, who knows? I might try to pickle some or something. Who knows? Depending on what comes up. But yeah, that's what's going on in my garden. That's how things are taking shape. Tomatoes and everything on the left side is going crazy. My things that need a little bit more shade or not so much direct sunlight, everything's doing pretty well. It has its moments, but we're just trying to encourage everything to grow and to grow nicely, and we have nothing but positive vibes out here. This is my space to come and relax, and so I do spend quite a bit of time out here, probably more than most people would spend, but it's just my refuge, and it's where I come to get away from all of the chaos in the world. So let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions specifically about one of the things that I'm growing, or if comment, be sure to drop a comment below. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.